Hey everybody, Scott with Surviving Life's Pickles here with Joe, the founder of ILYBro Project. We wanted to give you guys a quick message about our partnership with Surviving Life Pickles, now providing the ILYBro Hour, coming to you once a month to talk about the project, but more importantly, to talk about men's mental health. So I'm going to turn the time over to Joe really fast just to talk a little bit about the project, what we're doing with it, and what to expect from our episodes as we move forward with this part of the project.
So the ILYBro Project, super thankful for Scott for the Surviving Life's Pickle podcast. ILYBro Project is specifically for men's mental health, suicide prevention, and ongoing personal development for men. What we're doing is super unique and caters to men's mental health and the emotional and mental health needs of the men in our community here in East. So we have support groups, Salt Lake City, West Jordan, Pleasant Grove, North Provo, and South Provo, all throughout the week. And they're only an hour and a half long. You can come after work, show up. This is to facilitate connection and purpose between the bros and a brother that you can join here with us too. A safe place for you to come talk about some of the struggles that you're having and another heavier burdens that you can share with our bros. And it's very connected. And we have workshops once a month to help educate us from clinicians. And so it helps us as bros, as men, to learn more about our mental health, how we can learn skills and be better at specific things. And we have monthly social activities and that we're able to get out and be social with each other and connect with bros, doing fun activities and other things, service and community too. So just a little bit about what we're doing. We also offer free therapy for men. And so come to a group, come participate with us. See if you like it, because it's going to be a special thing for you. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thanks, Joe. So again, this is the ILYBro Hour. What we're trying to do with this part of our podcast is really talk about men's mental health. Through these episodes, I'm going to be bringing in men in our project that come to the support groups, that lead the groups, that have helped with activities, so we can talk about how it's influenced their lives and hopefully inspire some of you to come check us out and, be part of this movement with men's mental health. So please look at the bottom of the podcast. All the information for the ILYBro Project will be posted on this. Check out the ILYBro Podcast. Their link is also on our webpage at www.survivinglifespickles.com. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of Surviving Life's Pickles. Today's a special episode, and I'm Scott Martin, your host, and I am here with Tua. And Tua, I'm going to have to ask you to say your last name so I don't butcher it, man.
Yeah, Tua ILYBro.
Okay, man, I'm glad I had you say it. So today marks our very first ILYBro Hour. What that means is I've partnered with the ILYBro Project, and you've probably heard about us talk on the podcast before about it. But I've partnered with Joe, the founder, to provide the ILYBro Hour once a month, where we are dedicated to men's mental health, talking about the ILYBro Project, what it's doing for men out there today, and, just kind of educating people about what the project's all about, how it's helping men, and bringing more awareness to men's mental health. I am extremely just grateful to have Tua here today with me for this first episode. And before we get started, just like we do every Surviving Pickles episode, even though this is the ILYBro Hour, we are going to start it with a little thing of gratitude. And Tua, I'll throw you on the spot, man. What are you grateful for today?
What am I grateful for today? Yeah, there's lots to be grateful for. I think I'm grateful for today just having so many good people like shuttling around. It wasn't something that I necessarily paid attention to, but as of late, I've been more mindful of that. So just having good people around.
Yeah, it's a big difference when you have good people in your life.
Absolutely.
Today, I'm just really grateful to be part of something bigger than myself. And as we go into this episode, the ILYBro Project really has influenced and changed my life. And I'm just extremely grateful to be part of that project with Joe and providing some of the things and being part of just the community that's been built there. And like you say, it's the people in our lives that are just making the difference. And I really noticed that since I started coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a couple things to try to state, just so everybody knows, the ILYBro Project is not a supplement for regular therapy or help from a doctor. And this is a message directly from Joe, the founder, that he likes us to share at the start of every group. is it is a add-on. It is something to as a bonus to help you through what you're going through, not to fall back on just the support group, because you know what, if you need other help and if you need different things, we have resources for you out there. And so I Love You Bro Project is there to be a bonus addition to what you're doing for your own mental health. So just a little bit about myself, Tua. We are both subs, I guess is a good word to say for the groups. We're not really assigned to one group. We do tend to spend more time at certain ones, but we kind of float around and just kind of help fill in when some of the major group leaders can't, fulfill their duties that we do to family or whatever, because, life comes up. So it's kind of our responsibilities. I guess a little bit about the I Love You Bro project, and Tua, feel free to jump in anytime. A couple things that we offer is it is for men, run by men for men. We do have a couple women on our board that do assist with some of the programming and different things, but it's because they're there to help the men in their life, or they've had a very tragic experience in their life with mental health or suicide with their husband, that they are there to help us get the word out. We provide free support groups weekly all over the state right now. One on Salt Lake City on Monday nights, West Jordan on Tuesday night, North Provo on Wednesday night, and then we have Pleasant Grove on Thursday night and South Provo on Thursday night. As the months go out through this year, there will be a couple more up north area that will be opening up. There's going to be a Spanish version opening up, and there's going to be a Polynesian, right?
Yeah.
A lot of different things happening this year. So that's kind of the main part of the I Love You Bro project is the support groups. We also offer monthly seminars for men. We also have the I Love You Sis project for the women in our lives. And the I Love You Sis project is directly based for women to learn more about mental health in their men in their lives and how to help them with their struggles. So again, it's still based around men's mental health at this point and teaching the women how to better help the men in their lives with that. We try to do monthly activities or quarterly activities outside, get guys outside with just the guys, or we also get families involved. And we do a few fundraisers throughout the year, get a lot of people in the community involved in that. We're doing, our very first dance in February, which will already happen when this episode airs. So we'll have to fill everybody in on the next episode, how that went. But the big one's going to be the fireworks, and that's going to be in June. And you were there last year for that one, too.
It was awesome.
Tell us just a little bit about that, just so we kind of know what's going to happen in June. Get everybody start to get excited about it.
Yeah, it was, Joe brought up the idea, like, hey, we're going to have a firewall. Okay, it's just like some sort of rah-rah thing. Everybody get together and walk over. But the group that came out and did it and explained why. It was a really cool experience, right? Because you had people come from all over, right? And where we were last year, it was way out in the boonies. I stood in line next to a guy that had driven out from Colorado to be there. And he was, as soon as we were done, he was driving back. But he and his mom drove out. It was so important to have to be there because he had a friend commit suicide recently. And oh man, this is really cool. All right, so the experience was awesome. You get to walk over coals. I've never walked over coals before. To have everybody cheering you on, get all the way across, high fives. It's a pretty cool experience. Then you got pictures afterwards to prove it to your friends. Yeah, I did it.
Well, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially coming up this year. So everybody put that on the calendar, put it in the back of your head. June, the biggest fundraiser of the year. That's where we raise a lot of the money to provide all the free services and things that we offer for these guys. Well, since this is kind of the first episode, I invited Tua here today because he was actually at the very first I Love You Bro support group that I ever attended, which was really life-changing for me. But also, he's got a great story himself, and so I wanted to kind of bring him in. We just want to talk about kind of our first experiences with the project. Maybe a little history about why we decided to go and check it out. So to kind of give us just a little bit of background, a little family history or anything going on that you want to share with us about kind of what was going on in your life and what kind of made you want to check out the I Love You Bro project for the first time.
Well, ultimately it culminates in Joe's persistence and in the text messages and following up and just saying, hey, we're meeting.
So you and Joe have known each other before the project.
Joe and I have known each other plus years. At the time, when I attended my first meeting, I've been doing my own therapy once every couple of weeks. I got to every month just so I could work out my own mental health, anger issues, and why. I'm trying to find the why behind, like, how do I manage this, right? And and so there was some moments where I was in a pretty dark place, and Joe kept getting a text message from Joe. Even though I love Joe, and he'd tell me about it, like, oh, that's great, that's awesome, man. There was still in the back of my head, like, there's a little bit of stereotype stigma about
To the support group.
to the sport, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I ended up showing up to the North Grove meeting one night, and I just sat and I listened. Right, and I think there was 10, 12 guys at the time. Might have been the early stages, first few months of the project, of the meetings, and for me, it was listening to other men from all walks of life, rich, poor, white, black. There was a little bit of everybody there, but hearing everybody's what they're struggling with and what they're winning in life, with a little bit of everything, I felt like, oh, okay, I think I get it. This is good. This is good. And I don't think I shared it. I just want to go listen. And that's what I tell guys all the time when they ask for the project. Hey man, just come, really gotta share nothing, just come and listen. Just come and be in the room, because there may be something that helps you, right? Somebody may say something. And for me, it was when you're in that deep, dark place, it can be really, really difficult getting out of it, right? And so for me, that meeting was the valve to release just enough pressure, right? That it brought me from here to here.
Yeah.
It brought it down just enough. Oh, okay. Where I could think a little bit more clearly and kind of get back to, okay, what do I need to do to get out of it? But yeah, that's how I ended up there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you talk about the valve release. Jason, who's our board clinician part of the project, he uses the soda pop value description all the time. It's you shake the soda pop up, really have a pressure build up, and if you just hurry and release that cap, it's just an explode and go everywhere. So the support group's kind of like that little pressure relief, like you're saying, a little valve. Just open the cap just a little bit, just to let enough out that you feel a little less bloated, a little less full of that built up energy or emotions that's going on right then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been huge.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about going your first time and not really saying much or anything at all. And weeks ago, we had a guy at one of the groups, and same thing. I kind of actually called him out a little bit. I'm like, hey, you want to share anything? And he's like, I'm getting more out of just being here and hearing from all of you. He's like, his words were, you guys are helping me in ways that you have no idea. And all he was there is just to listen. I think that's a powerful thing with these groups is, yeah, you don't have to come and share. You don't have to come and talk. Just being there, having that community with these guys, listening to their stories, sometimes is really all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. I realized that there's really two ways to fill your cup, right? One is the sharing. You share, right? That's a release, right? And that fills your cup a little bit. And then the other way is just to listen. And those are the two ways. And many weeks I've been where, I just need to go. Yeah, like I just need to be here. Hey, you want to share anything?
Good.
I'm good. Thank you. To be able to listen to everybody's experiences, it helps me put myself in their shoes, right? And have a little bit better perspective on my own situation.
Well, we've had some pretty intimate ones. I mean, there was a time it was just you, me, and another guy.
Yeah.
And that was a great night. We talked about a lot of different things that night, but it was just nice just to have the boys. And when right before we hopped on, you said that somebody had said this last night. And this is the best way to describe it. It's guys going out for drinks without the drinks.
Yeah. 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 Just a bunch of bros getting together, and maybe somebody needs to vent. Or maybe somebody needs to talk about the win that they had. Maybe somebody just they need a hug or a fist bump or something. Like,
Yeah.
There's no pressure to share anything specific. If you want to get deep, great, let's get deep. But it's all about just being who you are, and we'll meet you where you are.
Right. we'll provide what you need. You just need to just show up. I mean, it's the biggest thing. Um, I guess, before we even get a little bit farther into this, just so everybody knows, we really have three foundational rules about every group. And the first rule is what happens here stays here. Joe's always telling us as group leaders and when he runs groups that his family knows each and every one of us, but they don't know our names. They don't know what we look like. They don't know anything else. They just know our stories. And it's pretty powerful to know that we have that trust with everybody in the group. It is in the group. We're there for each other. We're not to go home and tell our wives or family or kids or, hey, this guy so-and-so did this, this, and this. No, we'll share some of their story, but we're never going to reveal who they are. So that's the first and foremost. What's the second rule we have?
The second one is keep your respect.
Yeah.
Keep your respect. So being respectful of other people's time, when it's time to share. You're not going to take 45 minutes. Like, everybody's there for a reason. Like, let's just being just being mindful of being respectful. It's a general etiquette.
Right. And the third one is you just try to keep it clean. Like, we're not getting to get down and dirty. We're not, if you're having a bad day with your ex-wife, we get it. We understand. We're there for you, but we don't need to get down and dirty until we start bad-mouthing people. So we just try to keep it clean. Yes, sometimes there is no other way to express yourself than with some very good explicit words, because you know what? That's just how you feel, and that's okay. But it's really just kind of going back to that respect thing. You know what? Have respect for the people you're talking about, even if you don't like them or you're struggling with them. Let's not dive in and badmouth them. That's not what the group's for. The group's there for us.
I think what I like about the group too, when it comes to that, is you have a bunch of guys that are, and I think of the Ted Lasso, they're genuinely curious and not just right?
Right.
Yeah. Being curious and not just So guys will ask curious questions like, is there interesting? Maybe there's something I will lead to and help in a way.
Well, and so you were there the first time I came. So I'd come to the South Provo group, and it had only been going, 3-4 weeks, something like that. It was still pretty new. So I was pushed kind of by my therapist and a little bit through my wife of, you got to find another outlet. Like, you need to get out. You need to find another outlet. During that time, I'd been working on myself for a handful of months, and life was starting to kind of get better. And I was starting to feel more like myself and kind of pulling out of that dark spot I'd been in for quite a long time. And they kept pushing me, find something. And, I'd heard Joe on the Frankie and Jess podcast talk about it. And that was on a Tuesday. So literally after I was done, I looked it up and figured online, and I figured, oh, hey, Spark Groups, which one fits me? Hey, you know what? I don't have my kids on Thursday. It's in Provo. Yeah, I can make that. So
I didn't know it was that soon.
it was that soon. Like, I heard it on Tuesday, and I was there on that Thursday because I called my therapist, Emily Krupa, who's actually one of our big sponsors with Koru Wellness and stuff now. She hadn't met Joe yet either, and kind of heard the podcast as well. She's like, that's great. Well, go check it out and then come back and tell me. Like, she was very looking forward to hearing about it as well. So it took a lot of courage, and I showed up. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I was there super early. I thought it started at 7. Actually didn't start till 7:30. So I wandered around campus, couldn't figure out if I was in the right spot, talked about just leaving, called my wife and says, nobody's here. I'm going to leave. What am I doing? Well, then I looked online and figured out, it doesn't start for another 10 minutes. I'm way early. All right, I'll stick it out for a minute. And I found the room. Joe was in there setting up. I went in, introduced myself, and immediately you had that Joe moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
he just kind of is so welcoming. Well, all right, I can hang out. And everybody started tripling in, hanging out there that night. And I sat there, and Emily had challenged me to just go in and talk. Tell them what you've been struggling with. Just open up a little bit. And my wife is just like, you go for it. She's like, this is your chance. If you can do this, you need to do it. And literally 2 weeks before is when I decided I wanted to start this podcast. And so I had never talked publicly about anything I'd gone through. And so my wife was kind of at the same time, well, if you can't share it in a private group where you're there with men that are supporting you, what do you think of getting started a podcast?
Wow. Yeah.
And so that was a little push I needed as well. But I got there that night, met everybody, we kind of sat there. We do icebreaker questions, fun questions. We have a deck of cards that just ask fun questions like, hey, what's your favorite vacation? Or some deep stuff. What's another, like some of the deep ones we got through?
What's a personal moment you had with your parents?
Yes.
Stuff like that, right?
Yeah. We kind of got through that. And everybody did that and whatever. And you were sitting next to me.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I don't think I even wanted to look you in the eye. I was intimidated. I'm like, man, I got this guy sitting next to me, and we're both friends with Brigham.
Yeah.
And you kind of remind me of Brigham. He's a big guy. Big Paul, and he's
Shout out, Brig.
And so you kind of remind me of him. I was a little intimidated. Like, oh, man, you got Joe sitting next to you. And I'm like, this kid just kind of sitting there like, man. And then all of a sudden, I just had this overwhelming feeling. He's like, just open your damn mouth and start.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. I didn't want to take all the time. I don't think I did. I think it took about 30 minutes. And that was the first time I had shared everything.
Yeah. I remember you went pretty in depth that night. And I remember it because I had no plans of sharing anything. And I don't think I did.
No, I don't think you said 2 words the whole night.
Yeah. I needed that. Like,
right.
Going back to what we talked about earlier, like I needed what you said, right? And what you shared.
Well, and Jason was sitting next to me, our board clinician. He was there that night too. And like, it was, I did. I shared everything. I was just a garbage disposal. I just want to let it all out that night. First time I'd ever done it. First time I told anybody a lot of those things other than my wife or my therapist. Like, that was it. So it was scary. But after I was done, it was this huge weight that was just lifted. And I just felt energized. And throughout the night, other guys were sharing. We were talking as the group went on, and I realized I wasn't alone. Like, a lot of those guys in that group had experienced one or multiple things that I got through. And that was the biggest part of that first night for me, is to realize I wasn't alone, to realize everybody else struggles.
I think I think that's what opened my eyes. Like, hey, it's not uncommon, right? But it's very common amongst them, right? We tend to not share because we follow this bucket of protector provider, right? And that's our job. That's our task. That's what we do, right? There's no time. Like when it comes to your job at work, your feelings about the job don't matter.
It's true. It's business.
It's business. Like, you got to go get it done. And if you don't get it done, well, then you don't have a job, and then it's a domino effect.
Right.
Right. I realized telling the Greek way, oh, okay. Everybody kind of has this circumstance or situation, this perspective on doing that. And then, little nuances here and there about our situations, but, that's the group has allowed us to share and make it okay to share. It's okay to cry.
Right.
Joe's very big on that, and Joe will cry every meeting.
Every meeting.
Right. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, it's part of it is we're there to support each other. But at the same time, I feel the ILYBro project is getting a lot of energy. I guess it's, we're taking up a lot of ground. We're moving quickly, and it's becoming more of a movement now, especially here in Utah. Joe started to have people from other states reach out to him, and I feel we're on the breaking point of changing the game for men's mental health as far as the entire nation is concerned.
Agree. We have a ton of momentum. From 14 months ago with 5, 6 guys, right, to I think we have 5 groups now. 5 groups, 3 more coming. Yeah. And then last year we had 1,000 different guys showing up.
Yeah, over 1,000 guys.
1,000 guys.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe set out, if he could help one guy, he succeeded. And he touched 1,000 different men last year.
Yeah, that's program. Yeah. Be in the right place, the right time. And then having that prompting, right? And then you act upon that prompting. Like, this is the fruit of that.
Right.
There's going to be a ton more great things happen.
I just think, we're just at the tip, and this thing is going to be awesome. I'm pretty excited about what we have coming. It's changed my life. It's changed my view on men. I mean, we we've talked about trying to change the stigma, change the thought process behind man up. Joe hates that phrase, man up or be a man, because really, what does that mean? I mean, to every man out there, if you say man up or be a man, it means something different. Most of it, though, doesn't ever relate to show your emotions.
It's very task oriented.
Yes, it's you got to be tough. You gotta do this the right way. If you don't, you're a woman, you're a girl. There's lots of different derogatory terms that are used. One, it's not fair to women to start using those, but at the same time, why are we trying to downgrade men overall when you know what, we're all the same. We're all humans. We're all trying to share emotions. And really being a man now to me is starting to change the stigma for myself of being a real man is being man enough to show my emotions, being man enough to ask for help. I mean, usually it says man up, just take care of yourself. I mean, that's been the biggest thing, just hold it in. You've probably seen that quite a bit, just growing up in the Polynesian world, right? I mean, that's your culture.
Yeah. We just gotta go out and do it. Your feelings about the situation. I mean, there's some cultural things where you just have to do it this way.
Right.
I think that's not, we're not the only culture that does that, right?
Right.
It's,
You guys are the tough guys, though. You're the football players. You're the wrestlers. I mean, and not to stereotype or anything, but that's how the world kind of perceives you guys. Is you're the manly men in the world's eyes.
yeah, we'll beat you up, but then we'll take you out to lunch. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I love that we have, as with amongst our people, we tend to use laughter as a deflection. Like, hey, things all right? Oh, yeah, I'm good. All right,
Right.
things probably not so good, man. And I think a good friend of Joe's and mine, took his own life, several years ago. And immediately after, like everybody knew he had depression. Everybody knew it was just one of those things where he'd show up, he's happy, yeah, things are good, yeah, and then he disappeared for 3 or 4 weeks, right? And then he popped back in, and then he's happy, and it was a cycle, right? When it happened, in the moment, I harbored a lot of guilt. I felt, for that, I felt, oh, yeah, I wish I could have done something. Could I have done more? I should have done. That was the right thought process, right? And amongst falling, he was like, that, going back to the laughter thing, that's how we go, right? We laugh it off, right? Move on. Don't want to talk about it. But I think, here's the thing with like I'm a first generation, a lot like my generation, we're the first generation born in the States,
Okay.
right? So our parents immigrated over here from the villages, from the islands, right? And then we're the first generation. So we're the first generation really learning, right?
Well, outside of your
Outside of, like, and it's a process. I think it's going to be a process. Like I'm more mindful now, trying to be more mindful of how I talk to my kids. I mean, I still got to put, but I'm trying to be better, right? To make it okay. Like, hey man, you need help. Hey, what's going on? I'm trying to be better. It's because it can't just continue to what it was. Right? I think about how I was raised. I had a great, amazing, describe kind of childhood I had, but there was a lot of trauma as well. And it was like amazing and traumatic all rolled into one.
but it's molded you into the person you are today.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So, and maybe you wouldn't be here sitting with me if it wasn't for some of that trauma, for sure.
Yeah.
You probably would have never checked out the group if it wasn't for some of that. But at the same time, it was some of those relationships, like Joe, just harassing you to get you there too, right?
Yeah.
So, I just feel like it really has become, and I kind of want to use, like, I know a handful of you guys other than the Polynesian community. It's funny, like everybody's connected. But you guys have that tight brotherhood. And I've really noticed that over the years, with a couple of my really, really good friends. I mean, my oldest son actually got a name. His middle name was Makaki from one of my, Polynesian friends, because he was a big part of our life and still is to this day. But I feel like the I Love You Bro project is taking that same type of feel, because Joe is really spreading that type of brotherhood, because that's how he was raised. And he's spreading it throughout all men here locally.
Yeah.
All different cultures. We're all from different walks of life. And it's pretty amazing to kind of watch that part of it grow and watch what that's doing for men. There's a handful of our guys that come that don't have any friends. Just one night a week that they can be around anybody,
Around other guys and anybody. Yeah.
and so that's a big part of the I Love You Bro project. For some guys, it's that human connection they don't get anywhere else. They come just to have friends because they don't have any other friends. I mean, I know there's a few guys that go to 2 to 3 groups a week. They mob to the different ones.
Yeah, they love it.
They love it. They're making new friends, and that's their social life. And you know what? It's helped them with struggles they're going through. But now there's a group of guys that go to the South Provo one, and they all pull together. Like, great bunch of guys. They all carpool together. They all come together, become really good friends, dragging each other, making sure they're there. And I think that's really cool too. Like, their friendships, the relationships that this project's creating with different people that never would have become friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I love that about the group, because you get to meet guys from everywhere and hear their stories. Then the guys that don't get out, that don't have a social life outside of the group, like, we mean a lot as a group to them.
Right.
Right. It's what's the quote that says, some person you might mean the world to somebody mean the world, something like that.
Like, you mean the world to some, you mean the world to somebody, but they mean the world to you. Something like that. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it is. I know what you're talking about though. Well,
that out.
we'll have to come back, revisit that one and figure out what that exact quote is. But yeah, you just really know. And you're going back to you coming in, just sitting, and now I've come and just sit and listen. Some guys don't realize how much that really does mean. You just need to get out of your own space, your own house, and just be like, hearing other guys' stories, being able to take that in sometimes is the best medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you had a crappy day at work, maybe you had an argument with your wife, maybe you fight with kids, something like the crap has hit the fan somewhere in your life, right? The group is that place where you can come and just vent if you need to, just come where there's literally, it's one of the few places where you can walk into a room with other people and there's literally zero expectations,
Right. Zero. Like,
none. And for me, that's a relief, right? Because I feel like I have expectations on me.
so you can come and just be.
Just be, man.
Yeah.
You want to be quiet in the corner? Be quiet in the corner. It's okay.
Right. Well, I think Joe was telling us it's officially been like 18 months, right, since the first group was held. We just had our yearly meeting. We are talking about every group. We do have a check-in, and it's got 10 to 12 questions that every guy answers. Are they struggling with this week? It has multiple choice. You can pick multiple things. Why did you come to the group tonight? How did you hear about us? What do you look for in the group? Different questions like that. And Joe collects data on all this stuff, and one of the top 3 still to this day blows my mind, and it keeps getting higher. Like, when I first started coming in, Joe was telling us it was like number 5 or 6, and now it's in the top 3. It's like 2 or 3 back and forth, and that's guys showing up just to get a hug from a bro.
Yeah.
Some of these guys lack so much human connection. Like, they just don't have it. Like, some of them have lost their wives of 30, 40 years. Some of them don't have any human connection at home because, their marriage is not, and they come just to get a hug, just because they need it. And
Joe's great at giving hugs, man. And I've got better at it too. I hugged everybody last night.
Hey, there you go. And even if you're uncomfortable with it, Joe will make you comfortable with it.
Get a hug regardless.
Well, we had our last workshop a couple of weeks ago. One of the guys, I was sitting there talking to him, like, hey, if you don't participate, Joe's going to take you out back. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, Joe's going to take me out back and hug me to death.
Yeah.
Like, and that's expected now. Like, if you don't get a hug from Joe and you see, you better go over and ask him what's going on, because something's definitely happening with that guy out there.
And I think it's a little thing, right? But it makes such a difference, man. Like, if you're super lonely and you haven't had any physical connection or contact with social life or anything like that, and to get a big hug from a bro, like, it means a lot.
Yeah.
It's a ton.
Well, and I have never. I mean, I've always been a big hugger with my kids and family, but it's even grown since I've been coming even more. Like I look forward to it. My boys are 12 and 11, and that's the first thing they do when I go to work now is they run and just give me a big hug. Like before, it was like, whatever. But even now, they're getting a little bit older. Like that's the biggest thing is they want to give me a hug, and it's just part of kind of how we are now. And I was always resistant with certain people in my family and different things, and I've just kind of just relaxed about that, and it's become a little bit more common. You know what? Even with work. Like I've got a lot of friends that I've made over the years through work, and we're all blue collar guys and heavy construction, mining, this kind of stuff. And literally, if I take these guys to lunch, that I do not buy them lunch unless I get a hug from them now. Like,
Yeah.
we meet up, I get hugs from them. A couple of them said, "Man, that was a little." He's like, "Uncomfortable, but thanks." I needed that, and you just never know like what a hug can do for somebody during the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to watch the new guys
Yeah,
get the first hug. That looks a little awkward, right?
right.
You're not used to that, but then like the guys now they've come for 3, 4, 5 months, and now they're like, oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Now they get the hug.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like the football team after a championship. It's a big group hug. Everybody excited. Everybody's happy to share that emotion with everybody. But yeah, I mean, so as we're kind of wrapping up a little bit, tell me to a little bit more about what the group's really doing for you and what you hope to do through the foundation this coming year for other guys. Like, what's kind of on your bucket list as far as that stuff goes this year?
Yeah, the group, I'll just reiterate, the group is that valve for me that, especially when the pressure's high, like the group is that little bit of, right? And it's also, even when I'm not right, maybe having a great week, having a great month or whatever, I can go and I can just be there. And when you're in a good mood, you feel like, okay, it's easier for me to share now, right? Maybe I can help somebody else.
Well, that's a big thing you said right there is some guys come to the group when they're struggling, but we need to make sure we're coming to the group when we're winning because those are the moments when you share those too. So it's not just for when you're struggling. It's for when you're winning too.
Yeah, celebrate your wins.
Absolutely.
You got to celebrate your wins because as guys, like how often do you get a compliment outside of
Right.
like think about how often men get compliments, like, hey, nice shoes, hey, nice shirt, hey, you look great today, hey, great job, hey, your car looks, we don't get those. Women do it all the time with each other.
Absolutely.
That's what they do. But for men, like we don't do that.
So yeah, come when you're feeling good. Come celebrate those wins.
Yeah, celebrate the wins. Let other people compliment you, and then also celebrate somebody else's.
So what else, as things are rolling out this year, what do you hope to do with the group as far as being one of the group leaders? Like, what are some things, key moments or key things you want to start focusing on or sharing this year and help out with?
I tell everybody about the group, guys that I know, like, hey man, this is an awesome group. You should come. What's it about? Well, come find out. This is in men's mental health and just spreading the word about the group. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And then also the fundraiser, like getting the word out. Because honestly, like everybody that's come to the group, nobody leaves the group and says it sucked.
Right.
After they've been in, they got to know everybody. Like there's some genuine, like, the eyes light up. Okay, I get it. I get what you guys are doing. This felt awesome. This felt great. But I think getting the word out and getting as many guys as possible. Like I agree with you, point here. That, like I believe we're changing the game in terms of men's mental health. Right. And having this, we're not just another support. And in fact, guys that have been to other support groups, that's what they say. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not like last night up in Salt Lake. They were like, man, I've been to other groups. This is the best one I've been to. This is on my weekly schedule now. I think just getting the word out. We need to just talk about it with everyone, not just the men, but husbands and wives.
Right.
Right? Because maybe the husband is not as open, but talks to the wife. Okay, but you can suggest it. Doesn't matter how you learned about it or what makes you like. Just let's get the word out. Let's get back to that, right? Because the statistic and suicide rate in Utah, 80%.
80% of that. 80% of that.
Suicide rate, 80% of men. Holy crap. When I heard that, I thought, oh my gosh. Like I've been down that dark road multiple times before where I felt like, all right, this is it. Like this is it. And I got out of it. But since coming to the group, I've had less and less ideation about this stuff. Yeah. It's helped me so much. So much. And it's like, I know I'm not the only one.
Right.
The guys to work with, the guys I socialize with, at church, wherever. This is an out. And what's nice about it, not nice but great about it, is that it's not a paid support, right? Like for free. Like if you need one-on-one counseling, like the group will find a way to get you that one-on-one counseling you need.
Right. I mean, we have partnered with, I believe it's Rocky Mountain, and provide free counseling through Rocky Mountain with our sponsorship through them. There's help out there. And you just, we're here to help. You just gotta ask. I love what you're saying, though. Let's do a big thing, big post this year. Just tell everybody about it. Just put the word out there. It's funny you said the wives, right? You know, we're talking about men's mental health and stuff, but you know what? The wife's really key. Actually, me and my wife went over to dinner with one of the guys from group a couple of weeks ago. Met his wife, and you know, they cooked dinner and we hung out. 3-4 hours. We were over there, quite a while, and just talked. And it was really powerful. Like we had great conversations, learned a lot, had a lot of fun, great night. But when we were leaving, she walked over to me and gave me a hug and whispered in my ear, "Thank you for everything you've done for my house." And that to me, I mean, just brings just so much emotion up because all I do is show up. I'm just there. That fact that she came up and gave me a hug and whispered that to me really means that what we're doing is making a difference in these guys' lives. And the wives are seeing the difference that it's doing. Just today, one of my really good friends through work, his wife reached out to me and says, "Hey, tell me more about this support group. I've got a friend who really needs some help. Tell me more about it. Let me get the information over to him." Again, he's never been. He knows everything I'm doing. He's usually traveling, so it's really hard for him to try to come to a group, but he's a huge supporter of it. He goes home and he tells his wife about what we've been doing and things like we talk daily and kind of tell him wins and losses on things going on with the group. And he's super supportive and it's a huge advocate for us because he is telling people, obviously. I mean, that makes it, his wife and friends are getting me to ask more about it because they see me. They're seeing struggle. And so getting that word out is going to be huge. For me this year, I guess my big focus is to really be more present. I want to be better at listening, and I want to be able to just be there when somebody needs me. And I think that's what the group is going to do for me this year is really help me become a little bit better listening, to be able to not just always, I mean, I've been in sales management my whole life. And so I'm always the guy who's the energy and trying to push. I'm your biggest cheerleader and I'm there for you and pushing whatever. But it's nice to sit back and just listen and support from a different view. I'm hoping that's what the group does for me this year is it continues to teach me and let me evolve that emotion and that skill. Just being there to support the guys from a different angle. I have to be the guy that talks all the time. I'm doing this, so I'm talking all the time. I don't need to be the guy at group talking all the time. I want to listen. So that's been a big thing for me. A big push for me this year, I guess, as far as the foundation, it's kind of the same direction you have. It's get the word out, get people more aware. Let's put it out there. Let's celebrate mental health in general because it is an issue, but let's really push mental health with men because it's just not something talked about. I'm working on it at the place I work. We're having open discussions. I mean, I think we have 50, 60 employees out of our office here in Salt Lake. 2 of them are female. So we're all guys. And so it's listening, sharing, letting them know somebody else cares, letting them know they're not alone, and putting it out there of, hey, there's a safe spot that they can come, and all they got to do is look it up online.
They all had a lot of guys, being lonely is common.
Yes.
You can be married with kids and have a busy as hell schedule and be lonely as all get out.
Yeah.
And I think the group, the foundation has helped me realize that is possible. I've been that. The more we talk about it, the more the word gets out that it's okay. You know, guys that feel lonely at work, maybe they got the happy face, right? They got the mask on, and they're doing their best, but deep down, they're just lonely as hell, man. That's a terrible place to be. I mean, you and I both been there, right? It's a terrible place to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, oh, okay, where do I go now?
Kind of, I mean, and this is just me saying this. Kind of say it's the Robin Williams scenario, right? That guy was one of the on screen and full of life, most energetic, happiest. I mean, wanted to make everybody happy in this world, but he wasn't happy himself. And he towards the end, before he took his own life, he started opening up a little bit about that, how he was alone and different things. But I mean, it really kind of is that, what he was worried about everybody else in his life but himself.
Yeah.
And super low. I mean, he had the most friends in the whole world, but he was extremely low.
So that connection is, we need that connection. We need connection with other people, right? Like serious,
Yeah. Well, I think that's what this foundation, that's what these support groups, that's what our activities, that's what all of this is doing this year, is bringing that connection. So again, let's just throw it out there. It's the I Love You Bro Project. It is www.iloveyoubroproject.org. The information about all our support groups. There's a calendar on there, tells you location, time. Also, with our workshops, we have one every month. It is on the website. Look us up. The workshops are free. Everything we do is free, paid for by our fundraiser. So look up the workshop. If you just want to come learn something, we've had anger management. What was one of the other workshops?
We did emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. We just did the 5 gears of taking care of yourself. And there's another one coming up in March. So, and again, every month, we're also trying to do an I Love You Sis for the women in our lives to better understand us and how they can help us. We're trying to do those every month. So hop on the website, look at the events, the workshops, the support groups, come check it out. You know what? Come to support group, come to a workshop, come to one of our just activities. You don't have to do it all. We're doing all these different things so that you have something that fits your schedule, something that fits your needs in your life, just a different way to connect. The very first actual activity we did, Joe took everybody bowling.
Yeah. That was fun.
I mean, he paid for a whole bunch of guys, and it was funny because I wasn't part of the group at that time, but he did tell everybody, just go tell everybody there's this guy that wants to pay for you to come bowling, just come.
Yeah.
And that's how a handful of these guys actually found the group, was through that. And that spread. And then our next activity we did is we all went and jumped in the river together. We did a cold plunge and kind of talked about different things like that. So we're doing all sorts of fun stuff. This year's going to be huge. We got a lot on the plate, a lot of things coming. Again, we're going to be doing the I Love You Bro Hour. This is something that here at Surviving Life's Pickles that me and my wife have decided to sponsor and do, completely for free because we have such a passion for it. We believe in the project and we want to get the word out. And so we are doing this as part of how we give back to the project, is providing this information, this education about the project out here with everybody. And we're going to be doing one episode a month. And so look forward to it. It'll be posted on the websites as well. You'll be able to see that. And feel free to reach out to myself through my website, reach out through the website on I Love You Bro. If you want to get in touch with me, if you have a story about how the project's helped you in your life or somebody let's talk about it. Let's share it. But again, really, if you need help, reach out to us. Joe's contact information is on the website. It's just Joe at ILYBroProject.com. There's a few of us others that are on there as well. Reach out. Let us help you. Tell us how we can help you today. And it's the biggest thing. Let's connect. You're not alone. And we're all in this together as men. And let's just make this thing, let's just take off and have fun with it.
Yeah. You're not by yourself.
Absolutely not. So, everybody, thank you for tuning in to this first I Love You Bro Hour with us. And Tua, thank you for coming. It's been great. Always love chatting with you. Everybody, again, subscribe, share, tell your friends and family about this. Even if the only thing you listen to on here is the I Love You Bro Hour, at least you're able to hear this, and we love that part. So Thank you, everybody, again. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Hey, everybody, Scott again. Thank you for listening to this last episode. We want to go ahead and give you a quick message, just in case any of you are struggling. Make sure you have the resources to reach out and just give you a little bit more information about the project. Again, here's Joe.
Thanks for listening. I know some of these things we talk about, some things we hear be super heavy, specifically with us bros, where it's finding a place to talk about them, listen to them in a safe space it could be very tricky. If you feel like the weight of what you're dealing with, can't talk with wife, can't talk with your friends about it, talk to us about it. Okay, go to ILYBroProject.org. You'll see resources there, such as our therapy program. 988 is a great resource for you to call if you're feeling like you need some help on that end. We'll call it with you. We'll call 988 with you. The ILYBro Project, all of our programs, they're supplemental to therapy and to professional services. So we may not be clinicians. We're average bros just like you, but we can help you. So you are not alone. Okay. You are not alone. We're here with you.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening. We hope that this episode helped you understand a little bit about what we're doing. And we hope we connected with you. So please share this with any men that you know could listen and take part of our message and the project. We love all of you. Thank you.
We love you, bro.